Shazam will be the next DCE movie to go. Justice League will bring a Batman that you know, and Joss Whedon has Darkseid in his movie No Mo. Today on DC Movie News.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's DC Movie News.
Hey!
No mo.
Nothing?
No Mo!
Nothing. No
Okay,
mo.
That was a good one, though.
Yeah.
Yes! Listen, just to open up and just let you know, Jonny Loquasto is not here today, which means that I have to have the responsibility of bringing us through our DC movie stories, but as some of you know, I also work for Doghouse, so I just wanted to share with you what happened earlier today as we prepared for Doghouse's Oktoberfest promotions. This is what happens.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God, no.
Oh, that explains it.
No. Why?
This was not Coca-Cola, ladies
Why?
and gentlemen. Oh, boy.
Root beer?
Because they had the camera and they asked me to.
What are you, Haley Berry?
I know.
I saw that.
And then a woman walks in. Then an honest customer walks in because this is before the store opened. Don't mind us, please. We're open for business. That actually happened. That was a real woman there.
Was that Guinness? Look at your eyes. Look at your eyes.
Why don't you eat it though? I wanted you to scarf it down.
Well, that was cold. That was a prop we were using for many hours. And one of the other things that we had filmed, I was biting into many of the sausages. But so
Very
anyway.
impressive. Wow.
So, pardon the slurred speech. Welcome to DC Movie News, everyone. We got to get right to it because we're losing one of our members pretty early. Here we have with us once again the fabulous, the lovely, with the deliciously ripped up Batman tee. Elena Jordan is here.
Woo, woo, woo. Hey, what up? Deliciously ripped up.
Deliciously ripped. And what do you got going on there? There's some kind of like
You know what's so
color
funny?
scheme.
Today I go out for my Grammy's 90th birthday, and she said, "I like your comic shirt," and I said, "It's just a blue shirt." And she was like, "It looks like a comic book."
Yeah.
monochromatic.
It does.
I don't know.
It does.
I don't know
Looks
why.
kind of Captain America.
I was like, "Oh, well, maybe."
It does. It reminds me of like Doctor Who's little ID, you know, that blank ID that he has kind of thing. It's like, I feel like you can just envision whatever comic book background you want on that.
But it was weird. I was like, of all the shirts that I wear that you've never commented on that have Batman on them, you like this comic shirt?
Of all. That could have
Sure.
Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, anything.
just
She's
an
the crown
R.
jewel of DC Movie News. It's Roxy Striar. Do your Roxy Striar dance.
Roxy.
Yeah. I caught that online.
You caught that a little bit?
Yeah, I was like, it was all over Twitter. So I was like, what the heck is that?
I really appreciated it when I saw it in hindsight.
Really?
Catch that on camera. Catch me outside.
How
about that?
That is just, listen, come on.
Mike's never heard that. It's okay.
Really?
He's heard it.
That's so old. That's like...
Ladies and gentlemen, we're fortunate
Yeah, that's
enough to have with us for a little bit of time anyway. Mike Kalinowski is here.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hello.
Good to see you.
Hello.
Well, we are gathered here once again to
Hello.
talk about DC movie news. We're going to jump right in since we have limited time and I am slightly intoxicated.
Should we dive?
Yeah, we're gonna dive right in. Although we don't have any Aquaman stories this week. But we will talk about David S. Sandberg talking a little bit about Shazam. Obviously, he's out promoting Annabelle Creation, which has done very well at the box office. And we have two things to talk about. One, Shazam. Next DC movie in production.
Yeah.
Yes. Wait, okay, so I feel stupid because
Sure.
Just today?
No.
I know. There was like so many opportunities there. I felt like
You guys didn't even know which ones to take.
Didn't know what to do, and I fought
It
for
was
it.
a plethora.
Being somebody who's in this industry but still not being quite sure what this means. Like, so when? How?
What don't you know? What's going on?
I'm just confused. I mean, go ahead and we can read the quote, but I don't understand the timeline still. And I need some
They're just
help.
going into production.
They're the
in.
next
They're
one
the
going
next-
into production.
They're the next one
Yes.
after what?
Still no
Aquaman.
Still no confirmed date next after Aquaman.
It's next after Aquaman.
So Shazam will be the next to air after Aquaman?
Most likely. Most
I would
likely.
agree with that.
No mo.
But not necessarily, but most
But
likely.
not necessarily, yes.
So they're
depends.
definitely shooting next, but
Yes.
they're not necessarily airing next.
But
well,
probably
I would
they
say,
will.
Yeah, I'd say this is
The goal is probably to shoot and have it be the next movie to be released.
See, that's weird to me.
I think Jeff Johns was very clear with the Comic-Con comments that he said, we're not talking about release dates, we're talking about when we have movies that are ready to go. I think everything that you're hearing about, I'm very optimistic about all this news, despite all the Justice League stuff that we're going to talk to. I think these guys are spending every dollar because they're thinking long term, and it does not matter. It does not matter if you have to double the budget of Justice League if you make a great Justice League movie, because it's not about the one movie, it's about the future of the franchise.
Yeah.
And so
Jody Money in the chat says, have they confirmed that Shazam is connected to the rest of the DCEU? I feel as if they've confirmed that it is not.
you know what? No, because
it
this is
is.
something that we've talked about since the beginning of our show, and it's gone back and forth, but it seems very tepid. Like, it's the New Line thing.
Yes,
and
it is the New Line
we know
thing.
Black Adam is a part of it. And the next comment I want to bring up is that a lot of people were
No, we know Black Adam
is
Is
not
not
part of
in
it.
but
this
Yeah.
one,
David
but
Sandberg
will later on have his own
part of the
movie
uni.
and will
Yeah.
assumingly be at least a trilogy where they then
What do you
meet
guys
in
like
a
better
third.
as an abbrev? Uni or verse? It's part of the verse.
part of the
part
verse,
Of the uni.
part of the
Verse.
uni.
I'd just say part of the universe.
Okay,
Well,
well,
obviously, she's asking.
Well,
you're older than I am.
part of the same verse.
Suck it.
I don't know.
I
hate
had
both.
it. I would.
I do want to say though.
If you had it, I would.
So
How about
better?
that?
How about that?
David Sandberg confirmed that Black Adam was part of earlier scripts, but in the most recent iteration, they have a script that they're going with. That's the other thing.
Yeah,
We're
there's
not
a
going
script.
into production without a script. They're going into production without a script that does not at this time contain Black Adam, and Black Adam is still meant to be in a separate film. And when David S. Sandberg was asked about his research, he's reading all the stuff going back to the 40s kitchen sink stuff, going back to the recent Jeff Johns stuff, and the stuff in between as far as the mythology of Captain Marvel / Shazam.
Shazam!
Shazam. Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's in the DC universe.
Are you excited about it? I
yeah.
mean, how do you feel? What are your overall thoughts?
I like the fact that it's not Black Adam in there. I think it has. Yeah.
It does feel weird how this is going to tie into the rest of the DCU.
But
I don't
because
know how to
think
feel yet,
I think
because
it's
it's like,
gonna be
who, what, when,
like
where, how?
Like Wonder Woman, if you take out the Bruce Wayne stuff, Wonder Woman, could not be connected to that universe if they said it's not connected to the DCU. Yes, it's
Remember
the same
that
actress,
time-
but it doesn't. If you took out the Bruce Wayne bookends with
Sure.
the picture, that could be a separate film. So maybe
That's-
this does not need to connect to what we've got going on. I mean,
well,
can still
although
be
it
in the
does,
same
it does
universe
explain
without-
who she is in Justice League.
yeah.
I mean,
but-
sorry, in BVS.
So the Shazam doesn't really need to have much connected to what's going on.
Remember that time we had a Shazam? Like, remember that time we knew who Shazam was?
no, we never did.
Right.
We still don't.
I don't remember that time
still
either.
don't.
So, are you excited?
That's a big
for this
reveal.
movie? Are you excited
I
for
think
this
they
movie
know
that we
who
have?
he is. They know who he is.
Okay, but
would
I
bet
don't.
anything they
I don't know who
I
he
know.
is. So, am I
Too
excited?
damn
But you're
bad.
not making the movie.
The
so-
big question,
He
though.
asked me if I'm excited.
Yeah. Well,
I
the
don't
big
know.
question is, you're right. You don't know if this is a world where Henry Cavill's Superman exists in the same world as The Rock's Black Adam and Shazam, formerly Captain Marvel.
I'm with Mike on this one. I think that it is connected, but it doesn't necessarily, just like, if you are looking at any story that has multiple characters, if you're cutting to ABC storyline, that's basically what these movies are doing, where they're their own storyline. They're all connected, but maybe not directly. We don't have to run into the same people.
Well, that's interesting
Agreed.
that you say that. I think that dovetails nicely into our next story, which is how has the Justice League film changed, thinking of all these films that are moving in the future, right? Since the Zack Snyder film, which was already in pre-production before BVS came out, the world has changed many times over with regard to DCU since then. So, what we're discussing here is, how do you think he's changing the end of this film? There's a lot of talk about all the research. And then, does this tie into a new, different sort of DCU moving
There's
forward?
a lot of questions.
A lot
here.
of questions.
Because the first thing is, how does it change would imply that we have any idea what the ending was originally supposed to be.
Well,
which there are rumors about,
let's
of
go
course,
back to
with
that.
Darkseid.
Okay, Mike.
There was Justice League 1 and 2 was announced.
Yes.
That was what it was.
Uno,
And-
dos.
Right.
Just for our Spanish-speaking audience.
Yes.
Thank you. But those are the only words that they would understand,
Yes.
presumably. But
Great.
But
Fine.
they
A little something for
and we
everybody.
assumed that with the casting of Steppenwolf that it's going to end with Darkseid being revealed. Maybe Superman comes back, and then Justice League 2 is Darkseid coming to Earth. That's what we thought. That has changed since then, and they made a good link to it's this very same thing with because Infinity War used to be Avengers 3 and 4 combined as one. It was
Trace
Infinity
and
1, Part 1 and
Quattro.
2.
Right, that's what it was. And they said,
Thank you, guys.
since then they've gone, nope, we're not doing that either.
Right.
Because in production, the way things go, they realize, well, maybe that's not the best way to go about it. And I think DC, after the critical backlashing of BVS and then Suicide Squad, they're like, well, let's pump the brakes. let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see with this film, can we make it a standalone film? Because there is no Justice League 2 announced. There is not.
Okay.
There is not.
Here would be my
Which is
question.
Which is smart.
Here would be my question,
I
and
agree.
what I think we should be thinking about though is
What is the question,
if
Roxy?
I'm going to ask it right now. I was going to get there. If we're not going with the Darkseid ending, if we
Right.
don't see Darkseid at all, then why is Steppenwolf our villain?
Because it sets up, you don't throw out your big bad right away. You don't go the biggest guy in the DCEU
No,
right away.
that's not what I'm saying. I agree. I'm not saying that Darkseid should be our villain. I'm
Right.
saying that if it is Steppenwolf, the logic in my mind behind that was so that we could reveal Darkseid, because it would give us a reason to
Well,
get
I would
to
think
Darkseid.
he's an
Eventually.
envoy. He's an envoy of Apocalypse. Apocalypse pretty much wants to colonize our little planet,
Yeah.
and that is in the name of Darkseid. And I think again, it's really hard to conjecture because we don't know how the film was meant to end. But for some reason, if we're meant to believe the rumors that it was going to have this Darkseid cliffhanger, which is very much like how Avengers ended,
Yeah.
and would be like almost like Joss Whedon now aping himself in a pretty predictable way,
Yeah.
or there's something different now. Clearly, yeah, Darkseid has to exist in a world where Apocalypse and Boom Tubes and Steppenwolf exist. But how is this going to change? I think it affects where they're moving forward. I think that's what it really says more about. This ending changing affects the future of the DCEU rather than setting up for a Justice League 2,
Right.
which, as you said, has not been announced.
What if we changed it so that Darkseid is the ending, and he previously was not the ending? Like, we're assuming we know what it was, but what if what we thought it was now what it is, and what it was is no longer?
Is this Inception? I can't
Well,
even
Rox,
follow
to
you.
go to
Is
what you're
the
saying,
thing
Looking
still
into your
spinning?
shirt, and I
to
see,
go what you're
like,
saying,
the
Roxy,
top
I
is
kind of,
spinning.
I don't know if, I don't know if I can say no to that. I think I might agree, just because piecing together
You
what we
followed
know
it.
in the script, there's scenes of, we know the League minus sans Superman, they're in the tunnels, underneath Gotham and stuff, and they're fighting the parademons. But there is a scene where Wonder Woman is fighting Steppenwolf in that scene. So why is your main villain fighting the team midway through the film? But then the finale is all of that red sky. They're outside, so that's a bigger battle. So what's going to
that?
happen with that?
Here's
So-
what I find really interesting too is that what we're hearing from actors like Joe Morton, who is working on the film as Silas Stone, and just the general conjecture is that a lot of the reshoots and a lot of the rewrites have been meant to create a lighter tone, which is interesting to me because way back when they had that set visit,
Yeah.
that was meant to that was a lighter tone, but still it seemed like they need to even come past that. Like it was still this downer or sort of bummer vibe.
Well, are you specifically talking about Joe Morton's quote right now? Or?
Yeah, Joe Morton's quote. Yeah, he was, people were asking Joe Morton about some of the pickups, and I think he said, you got what he said, right?
Yeah, and Joe Morton is the actor, I believe, that's playing Cyborg's father.
He was
correct?
also Cyberdyne Industries, right?
Yes, he
in
was.
T2, yeah. Is that a Schmodown question, potentially?
Could be.
He was, what's the character's name?
Oh gosh, it was.
oh my God.
Can you don't put me on the spot? Continue.
5,
Okay,
4,
Damn it!
Trace.
We're gonna lose!
I want the
Dose.
JT rule, please. JT rule.
Okay,
Repeat
okay.
the question.
I can't repeat it because I don't know what it was.
What character did Joe Morton play in Terminator 2?
Miles Dyson.
Ah, yes!
Mike Kalinowski,
We're going
JT
away!
rule. You guys are going down.
Going
That's how I do it.
Sucker.
That's how I do it.
I have the quote for you now.
Okay,
Do not
good.
doubt the killer.
Good.
Do
This is all
not
part
doubt
of
the
plan.
killer.
So IGN asked, can you say what's different? Is there any difference in tone? We're talking about the difference between Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon. And Morton said, well, the stuff that I had to do were just really small little bits and pieces, nothing necessarily having to do with the tone. I know that with Ray Fisher, the young man who plays Cyborg, young man, there were some adjustments that they made in terms of the tone of that character. I think what I heard was that there was need from the studio to lighten up the film in a way that the film felt too dark. I don't know what that meant in terms of how it actually got translated in terms of the reshoots, but that's what I heard. That's what I thought some of the reshoots were about. I can't believe he said this.
Yeah, I was surprised.
But it kind of goes to what they're saying. Like Cyborg, they're saying like he hates his father in this film. He
Yeah,
hates his
there's a lot
dad
of
what he
tension
did
there.
to him.
Yeah.
That's a understandable drive. But maybe it was a little too heavy. Maybe it was a little too
It
like.
could have
just
been
think
played
that-
very maudlin,
Yeah.
and that would play to what Zack Snyder's sensibilities kind of
Right,
are. Like
yeah.
Zack Snyder would be like, no, I know comic books and I know Cyborg is like this, but in the real world, like Zack Snyder has a very specific vision for
Can
his.
I just say with BVS real quick and how it plays to our world today?
Oh boy.
That scene with Superman coming down to Earth, the White House, with Alien Go Home and all this.
You know what I watched this week?
That
God,
speaks
I
to
watched-
our and it is and that's why I love that film, because it doesn't pull any punches. It is
I watched V for Vendetta this week.
Okay.
And
Oh.
talk about something that speaks to our
Whoa.
world right now.
comic books are always a prism through which these artists and writers can kind of get away with stuff.
Yeah,
But
just like sci-fi has always
like
been.
Cap punching Hitler.
Well,
Captain
Superman
Hitler,
back in the day
Superman.
helped break up a lot of Nazi organizations by infiltrating and finding out
but
their
to see,
secrets
Sneider,
and
he talks,
publishing them. Love it.
His dad put this alien technology in him, and here he is, like this freak.
I know, and the thing is that the art was never as compelling in any of the good Nazi comics that I read as a kid, so that's why they just don't really catch on, I think.
What?
Okay,
Okay,
but no. Nazis aren't good, guys.
Can we? What's our next topic? Because I want to talk about one in specific.
Oh, what do you want to talk about?
Well, Rox, can you pull it up again? What
Yeah, here we
go. Okay, we got
Affleck?
the Morton.
Affleck talking about
Casey?
Batman?
Yes, that.
Okay, so
I have news about this one.
okay, so we're gonna talk about Affleck, Afflecks, and Batman.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start off with one thing that we know is Ben Affleck had said that I think the Batman that you're going to see in Justice League is a little bit more of the Batman you might recognize. Like, he acts like
Classic.
a hero, which makes me very happy.
everyone's excited for.
I know you love the Batman v Superman, but I don't really like that depiction of the character because it feels
I get.
out of left field for
Angry
me.
Batman.
I get,
Yeah.
but I get where he is at that point. And a lot of people say.
And it also doesn't seem like the smartest Batman because
A lot of people say, yeah,
Well,
you
stopping
have to
somebody and
remember
not
the 20
killing
years.
them
You have
is
to
a lot
remember the
more
20
difficult.
years. That he's been Batman. The 20 years. It's a
I know.
different Batman.
It's a different thing. I just personally never liked
But it's-
starting the DCEU with that Batman
But it's
at that point.
but it's a nice character arc for this character. He is a great arc if
I
he's
think
coming
in
to what it is.
hindsight, I think you're right. I think if this works in Justice League, I'm gonna look at
I have
that
a
Batman
feeling-
v Superman and like it more.
I have a feeling
Yeah.
people are going to look at it like they did with Wonder Woman and now BVS. They look at her in Wonder Woman or in
That-
BVS, she's like, wow, she's really good. Because
Yeah,
you see,
makes sense.
sure.
Why
so I
she's
think people
harder.
want, if Affleck is going to give us the Batman that people are talking about, and also the Cavill that people want, the Superman, I think they're going to look back and go, okay, we had to go through something I didn't like to get where we are, but okay.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
enhances the
which is
film.
also why, like, I think the whole idea of the Nightmare Batman sequence in BVS, like, how can we get that Superman now? It's like we've already moved past like dark, brooding Superman. Like, I
Right.
don't see, people were talking about like we don't know what Superman's going to be like when it comes to Justice League. Is going to be a villain? What if that's one of the storylines that they've cut the hell out?
Yeah.
That Whedon
What
has?
if the whole dark
That-
Superman thing was going to happen?
or they've eliminated that by joining Ford. Like
That's what I mean.
That's- yeah,
doing a different
exactly.
By the
resurrection.
Taking it
Flash
out.
coming back and going, you need to stop this. This needs to.
It sounds like they're playing with a lot of, as my friend would say, timey-wimey stuff
Timey-wimey.
to get it all
Wibbly
together.
wobbly.
Hey, we're working there.
Now, did you? What else? Did you want to talk about the Affleck brothers?
Yes, let's talk about
Okay,
this.
so
Let's
at a
talk.
Sox game, is that the way to say that?
The Sox.
Sox
So what,
game.
what I do want to say though is that this was on WEEI, which is where my brother's a producer, a radio station in Boston.
Were you having a cold one watching the Sox?
So you're a Bostonian. You're.
I'm a Bostonian. WEEI is an amazing
Sox-
station. It's a
Sox
sports
game?
radio station that my brother works for.
and the
it's really
Afflecks
exciting.
are notorious
Yeah,
Bostonians.
of course. And actually, they're doing this whole marathon right now. It's a Jimmy Fun thing. Maria Menounos just called in for it too,
cool.
being a Bostonian. So it was all something they were all part of. But Casey was throwing the first pitch, I believe. Of the
That's a
Sox
thing
game.
that they do.
This
Yeah.
isn't the pitch where he threw it and hit the guy in the nuts, is it? Have you seen that?
No.
It was throwing the first pitch and hit some guy off the catcher right in the nuts.
Maybe he was
That's
aiming
great.
there. Okay.
Baba Booey.
Okay, Boston, you're
No,
mine.
no.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so at
Anyway.
the game, I wanted to let you have it, but then you were
She
off
went off
in
the
song.
rails.
Oh, I
That's
was
the
just telling you
rails.
that my brother works there, and he was saying that it was interesting their take on this story. So I'll
Okay,
give it to
so
you guys
at
after.
the game, I'll tell you this story. I'm sure you all know it. At the game, somebody asked Casey Affleck, just won an Academy Award, and all this about what he thought of his brother's Batman.
Yes.
And it didn't even sound like there was a follow-up question.
So
but
here's what he said. We do have video of it, though. Are we going to play it or should
I don't
you want
know
me
if
to
we
read
set
it?
up to play the
Okay.
video of
Just,
it.
just talk.
He said, I thought he was an okay Batman. He was obviously joking. He thought he was great. No, he was great. He was great. He's a hero, so he had something to channel and work with there.
That's sweet. That's a really sweet comment.
That is very nice. But he's not going to do that movie, I don't think.
What?
I
So
feel
it's
like he
basically-
started his first
No,
pitch
he
the way
didn't-
you
he
started
didn't
your
send-
day. I
he
think
didn't
he
say
was
Batman.
just like.
So then after that, they kind of like said to him, they said breaking news, and he kind of panicked and was like,
Oh, is that
"Oh,
breaking
is that
news?
breaking?
Is that breaking news?
Is that breaking news? I don't know what I'm talking about."
He said, I was just kind of making that up.
yeah, and
You
just
see,
like kind of like went back on it.
I think
And so the two sides of the story is number one, that he was just trolling his brother this whole time and knew that this would get press and knew that it would mess with him and that his brother is doing the movies. Or number two, his brother said something to him. He did not realize the information was not public. He kind of split it out there and then was like, oh,
I think he was just out of it, was
Well,
just dicking around
If
and
he
was
was
saying
drinking,
whatever.
like
I don't.
sometimes when you drink, you say things like you don't mean. Like, for
Yeah.
example,
I
like,
think-
I wear pantyhose all the time. I
but
enjoy
if
it.
you had said that when you were drunk, I would believe it.
Well,
even if
maybe-
you didn't
maybe I
mean to
did.
say it.
I think this is what the boys like to call busting balls. He knew his brother, like, I pictured this happening. He knew this is going to get so much crap. He knew the internet was going to take it. Ben's on the other line going, what did you do? I just got done with this crap, and now they're going to start with this crap. Man, when I see you next time,
I
I'm
think
going
you're
to hit
giving
you
him
so
too
hard in the
much
nuts.
credit.
I
I
gotta
don't
say,
think he
the
was even
sense in the
thinking that
studio
far in
was
the
not
future.
that.
I don't think he was like, oh, this is gonna get so much press. I think he was just like, what? We're at the game. Gold Sox. Yeah, my brother. I don't know if he's gonna do that
So,
movie. It's
but I'm
Batman.
interested. Roxy, you seem to intimate that you have some inside information from people here.
It's not
so.
necessarily more information. It's just that I asked my brother the tone at the studio. Did they think it was one way or the other? And he said that they all believed that he slipped something that he was not supposed to slip.
Now, let me say this, because people have been asking me this morning about this. I was there. We saw his Comic-Con reaction. Affleck saying, you know what? No, I am in. I want to do Reeves Batman. I'd be an ape for him. If this comes out that he all along was not going to do this Batman film and he was out after Justice League, Ben Affleck will lose me as a fan. I will be done with him with this, because I think it could have been one thing to go,
Even
guys.
if Warner Brothers is dictating what he does.
It's a tough position to be in.
It would be me if he goes, guys, Justice League. I'm in for Justice League. Let's focus on this. This is the film we're working on. We've had so many ups and downs with the Batman. This is what I'm saying. We're here for Batman.
But
We're
it's
here for
not
Justice
up to
League.
him to say. Like, he's being dictated what he's allowed to say about
He could
that
be
stuff.
sued
It's
for
not really
millions
his
of
choice.
dollars. Yeah.
It's not his choice to say, because
So why would they talk about the Batman? Like, they didn't.
Nothing- I
They
mean-
did not need to come out at Comic-Con and address it. They didn't need to.
there was still nothing official. The Batman was still not actually announced at the thing. I don't believe it was, right? It wasn't
think
at
that
the
he's
Hall
still
H thing.
I really think that it's just probably he was
that's
frustrated.
what I
He
think.
came down, like Casey was there, and he's like, you know, what F the Batman, whatever.
Listen,
and
his
so
reps.
Casey just
so
ran with it.
Today
and then
we
I don't
have
think
there
it
was a
anything
report
real.
what the Affleck's reps actually said.
Yeah.
So Casey Affleck's rep said that he was just messing around at a game. Okay, which is obviously the obvious cover story. And Affleck's representatives reiterated his stance from Comic-Con, which was that, actually, it sounds a little different to me. His rep said that he will be Batman as long as Warner Brothers will have him.
Have him, yeah.
Which means you have to realize he still has presumably he still has a one contract left on a film. So now you're in the position was, does Warner Brothers want to go ahead with a trilogy? Which means that if Matt Reeves is going to make a trilogy, they have to decide if they're going to sign Ben Affleck for 3 movies.
I think that's a mistake,
or
though.
start
Trilogy.
over.
Oh, that whole trilogy crap.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm just reading the tea leaves, and I'm telling you that's exactly what's going on in the place. They're not going to make a one-off film. I don't know why this makes you so angry. This is business.
Because Wonder Woman, they didn't set out to make a trilogy either, and we got.
But
one
they
of the
have Gal for
But we got one of the
films, I'm
greatest
sure.
comic movies of all time, because they
Yes.
focused on this
And
is the story
they
we're
realized
doing.
that they messed up by not signing Patty Jenkins on for Wonder Woman 2,
Well, it was
and
not
now
it was not a
they're
mess up. They didn't know where they were going to go with it.
Why?
They didn't
yeah,
know.
but now it's going to cost them more money. So I
wanna
feel like they're not going to make that error again. I,
I
think
think
they are
they're
going to
okay
keep
with
going
their-
trilogies. They're going to sign sequels. They're going to sign multiple.
And we're back into.
Okay. Can we focus
ahead,
on what Adam
yes.
just said, though? Because
What's
I
that?
think that was the most important part. Listen to the words. He'll continue to be Batman as long as the studio will have them.
Yeah.
This is not somebody who is under pressure, who's drinking, who has to. This is somebody who the next day is putting out a canned response, and those were the words they chose. Why did they pick that?
Well,
Why did they pick as long as the studio will have them? I think exactly because they're probably gearing up. I don't know whether he's in it or not, but I think they're talking to fans like you and letting you know that it's not necessarily 100% hit on him right now.
He signed up for one more film. That's what he knows.
Yeah.
He can't make any choices beyond that. We don't know, A, if Warner Brothers wants him for 3 films. If B, Warner Brothers wants to sign what that will cost for 3 films. C, we don't know if Matt Reeves wants him for his films. I think Matt Reeves has all the choices in this situation. Matt Reeves signing on means that Matt Reeves has all the choices. Matt Reeves didn't sign on to something saying that you're going to dictate who my character is going to be or anything like this. There was a lot of deliberation, and the fact that he signed on leads me to believe that he's got all the choices. So if Matt Reeves decides, A, I want Ben Affleck to be my Batman, then Warner Brothers is going to have to decide if A, they want to make one Batman film or make a new deal with Ben Affleck, and then Affleck has to decide if he wants to. I just think that there's a lot of moving parts right now.
Yeah.
And I think that it's really a safeguard that he's probably putting into place where he's saying, I am signed on for this movie. If anything does happen, then that's a studio choice, because so far everything has been so up in the air that if something were to happen, he doesn't want to. I'm with you, Roxy. He doesn't want to lose fans who are thinking that he's just dropping out and that he was never on board.
Absolutely, you're right. And Mike, you're right. Like, he'll lose fans, but his hands are tied. You know that. You know that there's certain things he's not allowed to talk about.
I mean,
there's so much secrecy and so many contracts
He's
that you have
probably
to sign.
confused too. Like
if Reeves goes, I want Hugh Jackman as my Batman.
Okay.
And Affleck goes, I want to be Batman, Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. I think Warner Brothers will side with Affleck.
I would say
Brothers-
that.
but do you think
Reeves
Affleck would say that
having-
after hearing Reeves? I don't think Affleck
think-
would
I'm
hear
not.
Reeves say that.
I'm not putting them against each other. I'm just saying I don't think Reeves has star power. To choose star power over Affleck.
And
Affleck
this is where we
the golden
disagree.
child.
This is where we disagree, because I think Reeves signed up with all those things in place, because when they were negotiating with him, he walked. And the fact that he signed means
But that was on the script stuff.
Well, we don't know exactly. He might also have choice of cast. You know, whatever Reeves went on, Reeves decided that this situation was going to be amenable to what he wanted. So if he didn't walk into a situation where Warner Brothers is going to dictate something that he doesn't want for his trilogy or his single film or whatever it is. All I'm saying is what I see is that Reeves got what he wanted and he signed up. So if you
wouldn't he got what he wanted? That we already knew that Affleck was involved, so he knew that Affleck was there.
Maybe yes or maybe no. That is the big question that we don't know. And a lot of this is also because Justice League hasn't been released yet, and we know that we wouldn't hear the answer to this until after it comes out, because it would be incredibly distracting to talk about how Affleck is walking away after a film that hasn't come out.
Although, would it be more distracting than this?
I think it would. I think not knowing is worth the knowing.
I
think
have
it's- I think
ultimate
it's-
say. It's like exactly what Patty Jenkins said about Wonder Woman. She wouldn't have cast Gal, and she was glad that Gal was in it, but that was a studio choice. I think the same thing.
But
Matt
isn't
Reeves,
it-
he signed up.
I think it's different.
I think he's
I think
saying,
they signed up from a different point of view, because Matt Reeves.
but I think he's saying, do I have creative control?
Yes.
I don't want, if Ben Affleck's in, that's fine. I want Ben Affleck the actor, not him giving me suggestions if he's not directing.
Ben Affleck doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's like that.
I don't think
Yeah.
he would, but I
don't think
think
so.
that a director who is also stepping on, who's like, I want script control, I want to also, direct this. And
I think we
DJ,
can't
BK,
compare- I
number
don't think you
one.
can compare Patty Jenkins' director position before Wonder Woman to Matt Reeves.
you can't, but
They're coming from a
at the
different
same, what I'm
place.
saying, just using it as
but
an
look at this point
example
now. Look
for
at this
how the
point.
studio can say
How everything is
that they
fickle.
can
Patty
cast.
Jones gone on to create the 8th highest film of all time, whatever
Yeah.
box office. Matt Reeves is Apes highly regarded, but the least financially successful of all the Apes films. So
What, the last one?
Oh yeah, it dropped instantly.
I think it still made more than the first one, though.
I don't
Then
know.
Rise?
I think
Yeah.
they're all saying it's not the success that everyone's. There was a lot of articles saying, "Is it actually a success?" Yes, people
I'm not
loved it.
comparing them as like their level of director before they're going in and
Right.
their influence. I'm
second
just
one,
saying,
too, though.
as an example, the studio, even though a big chunk of directing
You didn't
is
do the first one,
casting,
that's right, you did
the
the second
studio
one, but it
can
didn't make it nearly as
override,
much.
which
Right.
we've already seen our studio
But when
do
you
that.
sign on to a film, you will decide before that if you have
Ah,
control
man.
of casting or not.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
But I
like-
think that Affleck was
think-
signed on. I think that Reeves signed up.
Guys, we have to say
Well,
bye to
signed
our
on.
buddy.
I gotta leave on this one.
Okay.
I don't want to leave
All right.
because this is getting
I
heated
know.
and good.
Well,
Guys, I
there's a
gotta
lot of
take
things
off.
that we don't know. There's a lot of
Yeah.
conjecture here,
I
because
just
we
wanted
were
to say that-
conjecturing about deals
I
that were
wanted to
made that we
hear-
have no access to.
The quick thing I wanted to hear about was what you thought about the promo banner.
I think it looks great.
And
Oh
Suits
yeah,
being
so
in
there
it.
was a promotional
That's great.
piece put out
You
that
didn't mind
had
that it was in it?
Superman in it.
We know Superman's in the film. We know that.
We also don't know what this was used for, other than the fact that like a
It's
website
promotional,
is selling
yeah.
it.
Okay.
It seems a very weird.
I
official
don't
image.
know, again, because the website's selling it. It looks like he took the images that were individual, because all those right there.
It looks very
If
photoshopped.
you,
Yeah.
were,
Very
if you were at Comic-Con, the Mattel booth had this on a giant mural, but they were all standing separately.
But it was the same positions.
Yes, and
Okay.
he just took them and photo. And
It
the
doesn't
fact
even
that
look photoshopped. It looked like he cut them out
yeah,
and set them on top
that
of
was
each
at
other, like
Comic-Con,
South Park.
but they were all individual. So it's not an official
Okay.
Warner Brothers release. Looks
But
great.
no, but see, but that's what
we
the
know
story is saying, that
Superman's
it
in
is official.
No,
That's
it's
why
not. It's not.
Well, the story that we have maintains that it is an official
But
piece of
regardless,
merchandise.
we already know Superman's
we know
in
he's in it. We know he's in it. The toys are out. We know he's in it.
Yeah, but we don't know what he looks like. We don't know if he's part of the league. we
Right,
don't know all those
right. So
things.
just, I think, leave it.
Seems like a non-choice to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
To reveal it in an image like this seems
Yeah.
like sort of a non-choice.
But he's been released already. Like the pops that are out, Funkos. He's on
Yeah.
them. We
but
know
not
he's
in the
out there.
trailers.
I hope they don't.
Or maybe that
The
case.
Or maybe in the
super
last trailer,
stylish
most likely.
calendar with that awesome
That
background.
calendar is such a
All
piece
right.
of.
I gotta go.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you guys
Mikey
next time.
Christmas is out of here. Good
I'm
thing
out.
it was
Bye,
getting
guys.
heated.
Cash me outside, Mikey. Cash me outside.
Cash me outside.
I'll take it for you. Oh, all right.
Get out of here.
Shut up.
All right, so even though she's still making money at the box office, we've got some news about the Wonder Woman Blu-ray release.
Yeah.
Apparently, there will be deleted scenes.
I
or a
thought that we
deleted
had
scene.
talked about that there were going to be no extra footage. Like,
That
didn't-
was the story.
Yeah. I'm not mad
There's
about
always
it. But,
gonna be.
yeah, I just feel like either Patty or somebody made a huge deal about how they were like, there will not be any footage
She's
that
like,
you
we
have
shot
not
it all.
seen."
It's
Yeah.
all up there. But apparently, that's not true. They scraped together a scene. They were like, hey, what's that?
I think it's gonna be
Was that voice of
not
Matt? Oh, sorry.
a. I think it's gonna be just not any sort of giant plot altering scene. It's just gonna be some filler scene.
Probably
which,
not an action set piece.
Yeah, but I'm just excited. I just really, really, really want to see some behind the scenes footage of Gal with that green belly cut out.
Oh my god.
That's all I want. I want to see the big cape reveal with her big pregnant green belly that she was talking
Oh, that's
about.
so funny.
That's
Is that
all
going
I
to be on
want.
there?
I'm hoping because
that'd
she
be
was
so
saying
funny.
that was in
Pregnant
an
Wonder Woman?
interview. She said, "I hope that it makes it to the DVD or the
I
Blu-ray."
think they were making
the
a
special
joke. I don't
footage.
think they'll actually release
That
that.
would be
'Cause
awesome.
I don't think any of us will
but
get our minds
God,
off
it would
of
look
that.
so cool. I want to see it so bad.
Work.
I think it'll be exciting. I'm just excited for the fact that it's going to be a 4K release, which is like we
Yeah.
haven't had any of the Marvel films yet. Like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is going to be the first one, and this one are the first of the new waves of the HD, Blu-ray, DVD, or the 4K.
Which how cool is this? That this revolutionary movie is also
It's
going
kind
to
of
be
awesome.
released.
I mean, because the one thing you could say is this movie has a really epic feel. I think a problem of a lot of the superhero films, Marvel is even more guilty of this than DC, is that they don't feel as large and epic as they could because they feel green screeny. So the scapes don't feel as large. Wonder Woman, because of that one battle scene at least, and Themyscira, like there is some real grand feeling things. And even in like a Spider-Man Homecoming, which I love, it feels like you're on a Marvel playset kind of thing. It doesn't feel sweeping. I thought The Dark Knight felt sweeping, like movies like that. I think we're going to get all those films released on the Blu-ray. But I think, is that all the movie news that we have to talk about right now, guys?
Well, the leaks.
What?
The BVS,
The
the
IMAX
IMAX
footage.
Oh yes, okay. So I think this is already gone. I think you had an opportunity and blew it at this point. Somebody released the.
Yeah.
I guess it was, what was it? So it was footage of BVS from the extended cut.
Yeah. That
Adjusted
people had
to
wanted on IMAX,
Right.
but it couldn't because when it was released.
the aspect ratio of the IMAX was not in the extended cut of BVS. So I'm not sure if that was in the deleted scenes or the non-deleted scenes or whatever. But so they put out on Vimeo all these scenes from BVS that were in the IMAX aspect ratio.
This shows how much I did not like. I didn't dislike BVS. I know a lot of people did. I didn't dislike it. I didn't love it. You guys know I had my issues. # Martha. But when I saw this, the last thing I thought was, gotta go check that out. Like,
What? Oh, this.
yeah, you know, and that's how you know something didn't sit that well
Which
with
just
you.
seems
It's like
silly to me. It's like if you're not in an IMAX theater, it's like, all right, so
Yeah.
it'll be a little bit of a longer picture.
yeah.
I don't know.
That was it.
But your opportunity is gone because they've been taken down by the studio.
Yeah, so now you're screwed.
You're screwed. And it also looked like in other IMAX news, it's sort of a Marvel story, but like Marvel seems to be backing off that Inhumans business.
Yeah.
Because now it is going to be opening up the week later, and like, I don't know. You guys know I'm a huge Marvel fan, but that Inhumans, man, that does not look IMAX worthy. That trailer doesn't make me think like, oh, I gotta see that big, like Game of Thrones is.
Exactly my thoughts. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's our movie news. So that's it. And now we'd like to present.
What time is it?
I think.
I don't even know. I haven't even heard it.
It's time for Roxy Striar's TV time. All the girls think Johnny's fine. Adam's cooking so divine. Also Mikey, Christmas time. DC movie news, it's time to talk TV time.
Matt Vollmer!
Dar. So
Wow.
here's how this came to be. Matt tweeted at me. Do you tweet it? You twat.
No, he
tweeted.
tweeted at you,
He
Roxy.
tweeted?
Oh,
He
come on,
tweeted.
you're a lady. Oh my goodness.
He tweeted. Tweeted sounds weird. He tweeted at me when I had done that Roxy intro, like
Yeah.
Roxy, and he was like, "What are you trying to do? Take my job?" And I was like, "Well, maybe you should upgrade your ish." And he was like, "Well, maybe I will." And then he sent this. So, point and match go to you, my
Love
friend
it.
Matt. I love that. Great. I waited till on the show to listen to it. I love that. All right, so let's get into it. Some TV time.
Yeah, what do we got to talk about? TV
Situations.
time.
We got some casting going on in this bitch. It's perfect timing for it because it's August, and so we're not that far out. October is around the corner. There's a month in between, but it's around the corner. So many corners.
September is
Anyway.
just pre-Halloween. Be honest.
Very,
it's
very
just
true.
setup month.
So this guy that I don't know, named Kirk Acevedo, was cast as another person that I really don't know, whose alias is Ricardo Diaz, but he really is Richard Dragon. Yeah.
Richard Dragon, which
Talk
is
to
an
me,
Arrow
Adam.
villain. I don't know anything about Dick
Nothing.
Dragon,
So
but I
was
love
looking
the
him
name.
up. Yeah, it's a great name, but I was looking it up, and it seems to me like he has no special. He doesn't have powers. He's just a sick ass fighter. So, and he also is going to be on multiple episodes. He has a whole arc coming up in this next season. So we'll see. I don't feel like it's big bad material, but maybe big bad's littler
I
bad.
just like his description as a hardened ex-con who's bent on taking over Star City's criminal underworld.
So this is a guy who is, but what's also interesting is that he's just finishing up a prison sentence that he was wrongfully convicted of.
We see that a good amount on Arrow, where like somebody feels like Arrow burned him specifically, and so they're going after him. I'm wondering if he feels as if Arrow had a hand in getting him where he was, and now he's gonna attack.
Had a hand in making him a target.
I did also want to give a
Had a
shout out
hand on
to
a
Matt
bone.
Vollmer's band, The Great Romance.
Yeah.
Which looks like there's tour dates. I don't know.
Damn.
So go to thegreatromance.com. Looks like we got shows happening on August 27th in Louisiana, Mississippi, Illinois on the 27th. So check out The Great Romance. Go look at Matt's music.
You say romance, interestingly.
Romance.
Yeah,
The Great Romance.
Romance.
The Great Romance.
The Great Romance.
Matt, which
It's
one do
very
you prefer? The
romantical.
Great Romance. I was thinking of the song Romance in Durango.
Twat at him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really am not supposed to say that, am I? It's really a
No,
weird word.
but you've already made that bed, so you can lie.
Now I'm lying in the twat bed.
No, I knew you were gonna say it. I was waiting. I was like, it's not gonna be that bad until she says twat bed.
All right, speaking of Arrow, this was an interesting one that kind of gave us some insight on what's going on. Mark Guggenheim was interviewed about Arrow and what is happening with John Barrowman this next season. He was asked if Barrowman would be returning, and he said, "That's up to John. We told John when we called him." You're pointing at me?
No, I'm pointing at you because this is actually leading to a big question. This is actually a big deal.
That's up to John. We told John when we called him to tell him about the events of the finale. Every single person on the show has come back in some shape or form. We've got flashbacks. We've got time travel. We've got parallel universes. Goodbye is never goodbye. He has an open invitation to return to the show anytime he wants.
So my question to you is,
Give it to me, baby.
did Arrow just grow some balls and actually kill some people on the show?
I don't know. That's what I would assume if we're
seems-
saying
Are
we've
some
got
of those deaths going to
flashbacks.
stick?
If they say we've got flashbacks, yes, but then they say we've got time travel and parallel universes. It's like,
If Johnny were here, he'd say that's a great swerve, and that's what you should say, because it kind of like intimates the idea that some of those deaths stick. Like I almost hear like we told everybody like, hey guys, we're doing a big freaking shakeup. We're killing everybody. That would be the best thing that the show could do.
Really?
If they actually killed all those people.
Every single one except for Oliver and his son? Because then bye-bye Felicity, bye-bye Mr. Terrific. We're saying bye to Wild Dog. You're down.
It would just be the
Malcolm
ballsiest thing in the world.
Merlin.
I would bring it back to 0. Come on, you're 6 seasons in. You've done everything with the
That
team.
actually would be a smart
It would be
marketing.
so
You know what Mike would be
ballsy.
saying right now?
What?
The actors.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on.
The
No work
actors,
again.
they need jobs. He's not
Cheryl,
wrong.
what do you guys think of that? I'm really curious. Like, that's what I read. I'm like, are they actually going to kill some of those people? I don't think Felicity will be killed. but
Chaos
kill every other one of them.
13212
Yeah.
says, well, they did kill Laurel Lance. Howard AU says, sorry if that's not how you pronounce it, I don't want to see Malcolm anymore. Zeus says, I think Barrowman will be back in one of those shows as well. Because that's true, we always have legends and whatnot.
Legends picks up everybody anywhere.
Yeah.
And Behrman's everywhere.
But
He's
no,
just
what I'm curious
doing
about is, do
everything.
people think like how many other people would have been in that death? Would Deathstroke be dead too? I mean, it was
I don't know.
there was a lot of people that were blown
Yeah,
up.
you would assume. But I guess it depends on what part of the island you were on, maybe. Or
I thought
because
they were all
Deathstroke was at
together.
a different part than
Oh
the
yeah,
rest of them, right?
spoilers. It was months ago, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. Whatever. we're totally on spoilers. All right, moving on to other TV time stuff. I saw that Kevin Smith tweeted, I think it was either a tweet or an Instagram, about being back for Supergirl season 3. None of us were really surprised by this because he's always talked about how much he loves working in this universe, especially on that show. This is what he said. Back in #Vancouver for another adventure in National City with @the CW Supergirl. Third time's the charm.
See, now this is awesome because he loves doing this stuff, and he's obviously the biggest fan, and it promotes the shows because tons of us nerds listen to a lot of his podcasts. The most interesting thing about this is we type up show notes on a shared Google document, guys. That's how we kind of come up with the show. And Roxy, for TV time, likes to put together a lot of the TV stories. So when I read this story, and I didn't put this one on the document, I read Supergirl Season 3, The Retire of Kevin Smith. And I'm like, oh my God, Kevin Smith is retiring from CW shows.
I meant the return. Sorry, my friend. Changing it now. So what I will say on my part is that I do them on my phone. Everything's done on my phone. The retire of Kevin
I
Smith.
just clicked the link. I
That
didn't
gives
even
you guys
notice.
help.
Oh yeah,
You're
so this will
probably
be.
like,
So
what
you're
the hell?
confirming this is the last show that Kevin Smith.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. No, I'm not saying that. But
Autocorrect.
what I
That
will
is
say,
autocorrect, sir.
what I will say that was a really big fangirl moment for me that has nothing to do with DC, but does have to do with Kevin Smith. Is you guys know that I filmed that movie, Madness in the Method, that was Jay Muse's directing.
Okay.
So I'm in that movie, and they actually premiered a trailer at Comic-Con, and it was so freaking cool because I'm in a trailer with like Stan Lee, Kevin Smith, all these people. My like nerd heart just freaking hit the floor. Dean Cain, Terry Hatcher. I'm like, these are the people, man.
Dean
Like,
Cain too.
Yeah.
When do we get to
Danny
see this
Trejo.
movie?
I don't know when it's gonna be out, but I was just really
They
excited.
let Jay
about
Muse
that.
direct all those people.
Yeah.
Come on, Kevin didn't like whisper in his ear a little bit.
He's like really not involved. No, he was very impressed with Jay.
Sounds frightening.
So,
What do you think
yeah.
about the movie? Is that going to be?
I'm hoping it seems really great from what I've seen so far. So I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, it seems really great. So it was just a nerd moment. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, back to things that are DC related. Jesse Martin was talking a little bit about Joe's love life. We know this has been back and forth on the show, but we were curious what was going to end up happening with Joe West, if he was going to stay with this detective lady or not. And he talked to CBR at Comic-Con about this, which is interesting. Comic-Con news is still coming out. It's wild. Like a month later, people are still like, "Did you miss this part at Comic-Con?" I'm like, "Damn right I did." So they asked him about season 4 kicking off with the love life. He said, "It's going to progress. That's really all I can say. She's going to be around, so we'll see what happens."
They're gonna get married.
Yeah, I love that. It's going to progress. Like, you can really take that one way or another. Life progresses.
get
But then he went on to say, "I love the idea that Joe's got a girlfriend, so that gets explored. I really, really love that because I spent so much time just dealing with the kids and the gang over at Star Labs. Now I have somebody at home to deal with in a good way." Yeah, I love that he talks about his character like as if it's his life. He's like, "Oh, these dang kids."
So do you read into that Iris and Barry are not going to be? Where are they going to be this season?
Well, Barry's in like
Well,
who the hell knows
yeah.
where. in the
How long
Speed
is he going to
Force.
be in? If other seasons are an indication, he'll be back from who
Oh
the
yeah,
hell
DA.
knows. and,
Sorry,
like,
not detective. That was wrong.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I get confused with all the law.
That's good. That's what we have chat roll for.
Yeah.
To correct us.
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, talk about growing some balls. I know you were just talking about Arrow doing that. How ballsy would it be for Grant Gustin not to be in the first few episodes of The Flash?
It would be. I don't see that
I don't see
happening.
that happening.
But you're right. Like,
They wouldn't have the title character not in the first few episodes.
Title character, Wally West.
Oh, totally. I mean, that would be amazing.
I don't know.
Wally West being a Flash. I mean, I'm watching Ray Donovan this season.
Me
Are you
too,
guys watching
obviously.
that?
I love that show more than anything.
They took a big swing with a major thing, and you're like watching that show, and you're like, wait, what? And you're like, oh, it's season 5. You got to make some big swings.
I had no idea that was coming.
I still didn't know. I watched the end of the episode, and I'm like, the first episode, I'm like, wait, what did I miss? And I went back to last season. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, I know. They're doing a wonderful job with it, but it's true. You gotta mix it up. You gotta shake it up. Especially Arrow. You know, people have been down on it, and finally people are back in.
Yeah.
Did you watch Preacher this week?
Oh my God, yeah, I love that show.
It gets better and better every single
So
episode. I know
good.
I say that every week, but like, gosh, it's so good. And I love that they don't try to explain every single thing. Like, we didn't have to witness what happened with Cassidy and his son.
Oh, yeah.
But then we see like where they're
It was
at.
great to watch. And we kind of knew where that was going.
Yeah,
and I
Tulip,
love,
man.
Tulip's amazing. And you know, I hear some people criticizing like the character of Jesse and like, oh, he's not likable in this. It's like, I love that these characters are in really difficult places.
Yes.
He's not a likable guy. She's in hell. They're all in awful places. They have a lot of story to do. That's how I'm saying. Like this, you know, they've done such a good job at really sort of just like dissecting the original story and telling a lot of stories that were not even in the original source material.
Yeah, exactly. It's very interesting, and what's going on in hell with Arseface and like everything there, and Hitler.
Yeah.
It's like
Arseface and Hitler.
do you kind of feel for Hitler? Because like, what the hell's happening in my mind that I'm like.
I mean, in light of recent events, I certainly don't.
No,
As a
but-
Jewish man living in America,
Me as well, but like watching this, I'm like, why? What is the twist here? What are they gonna do with this? Because like, somehow he's the only one pulling on my heartstrings down there, which is like, you mother.
Ivan Soto is not feeling it. He's like, Jesse Custer's a freaking dick. I'm sorry. I know
Yeah.
he is, but I mean, I think he's gonna redeem
Guy
himself.
Patterson, I think the saint of all killers is probably God.
Oh, that's interesting. That would be an interesting twist. Oh, he's definitely gonna come back though.
Yeah, oh my God, of course. That's why they don't kill him, because you know
yeah.
they got to.
I haven't read the original series in like over 10 years, and I'm not checking back in it because I don't really want to be
So
reminded
good.
of like how it ends. I like that I forgot stuff, but I love Hair Star. Like
Hair Star is so cool.
But his backstory, and again, it's ridiculous and silly.
Everything that happens with him is so bizarre.
It's so bizarre, but I freaking love it.
I know, and he is such a talented actor. He just like is crushing that role. And the two people that he had, who were those two people that I forget their names, but
The normies.
Yeah,
that
they
was
were
great. That
amazing.
woman's great. She's awesome.
Yeah.
What was she in? Was she in Breaking Bad? Is that the same woman who was in Breaking Bad?
I don't remember her in Breaking Bad.
Guys, remind me of the other couple.
Bad.
I thought she was Lydia. Was she not Lydia?
Oh, I know.
All I know is I want Ruth Negga to be Catwoman really, really, really bad.
Oh, I think a lot of people are pulling for that. I think Ruth Negga should be
She's
anyone she wants to
amazing.
be.
Me too. I didn't see
You
Loving.
still
Did
need to
anybody?
watch Misfits.
No, Misfits. You said the
Still gotta
British
watch
show.
it,
All right,
yeah.
I really gotta watch that.
Just typing it down. All right, so that's it for TV time.
Okay, I know the first episode of the Telltale series, Batman, is out. I haven't played it yet. Have
I
you?
haven't played it yet.
I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna play that this weekend. Let me know what
Okay,
you guys
her
think of that.
name is Julianne Emery, and she was in Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
And Fargo.
Okay, she's in Better Call Saul,
Yeah.
but she wasn't in Breaking Bad. Who did she play in Better Call
Breaking
Saul?
In Better Call Saul, she plays Betsy Kettleman.
All right, well, she's great. Anyway, I love all those guys. Love that show. I guess is that it?
That's it.
All right, everyone. Roxy Striar, she's got a face. She's got a shirt made of psychic paper
Sure.
and a
Yeah.
face for radio. Tell
Meanest thing
I'm
anybody
kidding.
ever said to me.
You're gorgeous.
You guys can find me every Tuesday over at Screen Junkies. We are now free for you on Screen Junkies News YouTube channel for TV fights. So if you like TV time, you're definitely going to like TV fights. So go check that out. Also, I want to make sure we talk about Johnny's album, which
Oh, yeah.
you can
Yes.
find somewhere. where?
JQuastoAlbum.com.
That's where. It's awesome. Make sure you guys are supporting him. I know he really appreciates it. It's awesome that we got him over to Billboard Top 10. So freaking cool.
So awesome.
And that he topped the hip hop charts too. That was pretty cool.
And the website is QuastoAlbum.com.
Yeah,
QuastoAlbum.com.
QuastoAlbum.com. QuastoAlbum.com.
Keep buying that shiz, yo.
Buy that shiz, yo.
The
Yo,
sexiest Batman shirt I've seen in 2017 is worn by the lovely lady to the left of me, Elena Jordan.
Hey, you guys can find me on Twitter at Elena Jordan and on Instagram at that Elena Jordan girl. And if you're in Hawaii, come to the amazing Hawaii Comic-Con. Because we just did Amazing Las Vegas, so having just Hawaii is
a lot of amazement.
Felt weird. But yeah, I'm going to be there this weekend, or next weekend, so come down, see me, say hey.
Awesome. Well, I'm Adam Gertler. You can find me at Adam Gertler on Twitter and Instagram, on Facebook, all those places. Enjoy the sausages at Doghouse Restaurants and the hot dogs. It's Oktoberfest soon, hence the Lederhosen. Also find me in the Lederhosen, teaming up with Mikey Christmas to represent Team DC Movie News in the Schmoes. I know nobody's counting for us to do anything, but trust me, Mike Kalinowski is a freaking lights-out genius, and if I cannot screw it up, then we're going to kick all kinds of ass in the Schmoes, and I'll be wearing this outfit as the silent assassin. We'll see you next time on DC Movie News!
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Kristian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Whitworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.